Hey everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life. If you watched my Wednesday video, you know I'm filming two today. I'm wearing the same thing, but today I am having a crochet nook. It's been a long time since I've had one of these because I haven't really been crocheting aside from just the last couple of months. I really started getting back into it. You guys can see like I'm hoarding yarn again. I'm just really enjoying it. And I have two completed projects to share with you with one caveat: I did not tuck in my ends yet. I had to get up and grab this. I did end up ordering one thing that was recommended in some videos. I have tucked ends in other projects, but I've never used this. This is Aleene's Fabric Fusion Permanent Fabric Adhesive. So I haven't opened this yet. It just came in the mail and I'm excited to go ahead and weave my ends in and then use a little bit of this for each end so that nothing pops out. But the ends on these blankets are not actually like tucked in or anything. You can see like they're loosey-goosey. I tuck them in as I'm like crocheting over that row, but yeah, they're still like sticking out and they still have to be messed with. Anyway, that's the caveat. They're not completely 100% done because I haven't tucked the ends in, but they're all crocheted. All the crocheting is done for two projects, and then I'll show you my work in progress also. I have one other project that I'm working on. It's also a blanket. The kids seem to really like the blanket, so I'm gonna stick with that, and I wanna make a couple of, not sweaters, but like I don't know if they're called cowls or something, I don't know. Things that are not like buttoned, they're just like robe type things. I don't know what to call them, but I've seen some really cute ones and I want to make some. So anyway, I'll talk about my projects really quick. This is the Trolls blanket. I used Lion Brand mandala yarn in the Trolls colors. That was the name of the actual thing, and it is like very troll-tastic. I do have a Trolls cover here that shows like some rainbow colors, but this definitely feels very trolly to me with all the little bright rainbow colors. And this is a Lollipop blanket. I did find the tutorial on YouTube. That's pretty much what I do. I have followed patterns before, but I just really love when a YouTuber like lines it out, shows me exactly what stitch, like where to put my crochet hook in the front or back loop or both loops. I like being able to see what I'm doing. So that seems to be the best way for me to learn it. And I really had fun making this. So much fun, in fact, that I made a second one. So I'll talk about the second one in a minute. But this one happened to be really nice and like really lightweight. The kids love it and they carry it around. And I found that with this yarn, there were a couple of like undyed spots. You can see, and instead of cutting them out and then piecing it together, I just left them. I thought it gave it a little bit of character. So I've got like a lighter spot here, and then I thought I had seen one other lighter spot right off the bat. Like there's a little tiny bit of white right there. And I liked it. I want it to look homemade. It is homemade, and I just really thought it was beautiful. So I loved the Lollipop blanket. I followed this one exactly the same as they did with like the edging too, and I really like this is a picot stitch. And I really like how it turned out with a little like ruffle down the edge. And I think I kept my blanket pretty much square, except the very beginning, I was making like a triangle. I was losing stitches in the very beginning of my blanket. And so from there I maintained pretty straight, like pretty not dropping stitches along the rest of it. And then I totally cheated with this one. I folded it over because there was just like this little extra triangle bit hanging off. I totally folded it over and then just added a little stitch across it. I think I did like a single crochet or something like right across it to tie it in. And so this little corner is a lot thicker than the rest of the blanket, but that kept it square. So I feel like that was totally me cheating because I wasn't about to like try to fix it. I was already too far up to go back and fix it. So I just hid it a little bit with the little triangle hiding spot. But other than that, I feel like I did a pretty good job on this blanket, and I'll show some close-up shots for you guys so you can see the texture on it. I really love the Lollipop look to it. It's got some texture and it's really comfortable. This yarn is not the softest yarn I've worked with, but it's also not the coarsest either. So I really like it, and the kids play with this all the time. They use it as capes and they hide under it and pretend to take naps under it, all sorts of things. So they play with this one all the time. And now one that is a little bit like heavier and chunkier is this one that I made with the Snuggle yarn. And this is the Snuggle Baby yarn from Hobie. And I made the exact same blanket, and it's just like a different size, different dimension. This is actually the back. This is the Lollipop stitch. And I just used the Snuggle Baby yarn that I had. I liked that the colors went together, and I ended up running out and having to order more, and I showed you guys in the haul all of the stuff, but I did not have enough to like do a complete like one color around all the edges. So the edges are definitely like eclectic looking. They just line up. Whenever I run out of one color, I started another color. So I've got pink, switching to teal, and again, ends are not tucked in. Even ran out of the white for that like little stitching before you do the picot stitches. So yeah, the picot stitches, they're all different colors. There's purple starting all the way around. So it's definitely a little different look around the edges, whereas the other one I used the exact same yarn and just went around with the same yarn. This one I pieced together because I was running out of colors. I did end up using most of the Snuggle Baby yarn that I had, so I was really proud of being able to use almost all of it. I still have 2 of the grays. I might make a little stuffed animal with it. That was my plan originally, but I thought it would make such a good blanket. It's super soft and snuggly. This one's a much heavier one, like physically heavier, and also like a heavier, warmer blanket. So they don't carry this one around as much. They just snuggle up with this one. This one has been up in the media room and they just really like it. So I was happy with both of those. Okay, I totally forgot about these 2. I made some dinosaurs. So I was really proud of this one, not so much this one. I watched the tutorial and tried to follow the steps. Totally must have added rows because his head came out super big compared to the other one, and I ended up running out of the darker green and had to use the lighter green, so he's kind of like patchy, which I find kind of cute, but I just really don't know how or why I messed up attaching the head, and I didn't realize it until I was like all done attaching it, and then I turned to him, I was like, oh wow, he's like looking off to the side and he's very wonky. So everything else is lined up really well. I feel like I did a pretty good job on these stitches. I tried to keep them really tight so that it stayed like a nice cute little form. I really like his little spikes, but yeah, his head is sideways. So I'm like, I'm gonna make another one of these at some point. He's just a little cute little dinosaur. And then the other one is a little triceratops, and I don't know what they did, but you can see it's dirty. Oh, they had it outside. They took this outside with them and it got dirty outside, but this one's super cute. I really like its little like beady eyes. The eyes are just so big. And again, both of these were YouTube tutorials. I will make more of these. I want like a rainbow set of these little triceratops guys. I just thought he was super cute. I like the colors I picked, and I was happy with, I kept the stitches pretty tight. The one thing that was tricky on this was doing the outside thing. That's just a row on it. So I was really happy that the tutorial told you exactly like where to put your stitch and made it a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, super happy with how that one turned out, and I will make more of those. But those kind of tutorials are ones where I have to sit there, I have to have the video open, I have to work like right as the video is going. Whereas the blankets are ones I can do kind of mindlessly. I will be able to sit there, follow along for the first row or 2, and then it just repeats. And then I can kind of mindlessly sit there and do that while we're watching TV or something. But unfortunately, these ones, I just can't. That makes these ones harder projects for me because I can't just sit there and do it mindlessly. Like if the kids watch TV, I can sit there with my blanket and stitch if I don't have anything else I need to do. And same, like we watch TV at night together, I'll sit there and work on stitches. And you just can't do that if you have to have the YouTube video up at the same time. And now moving on from that, that's all I've done that's a completed project. I've started a couple of other things, and then I have one like major work in progress that I'm going to show you guys now. It is not done, but it's getting closer. Most likely it'll be in my next crochet nook. All right, I've got yarn on both sides of this blanket going on right now. This is the Mermaid Blanket that I shared, and it's just a really, really pretty shell stitch. You can see I did an alternating color. So I've got 2 rows of a solid color mixed with 2 rows of the ice cream yarn, and this one is the ube color. This is the 3rd one I've used of that, and this is the 3rd solid color scheme that I have. So there's still a ways to go with both of those. But this one's a little bit weird because I have left both skeins of yarn connected. There is some sort of edging that you do on this. I haven't looked at that part of the tutorial yet. I'm just doing the same stitch over and over again. It is a shell stitch, and there's just 2 different rows that repeat to get this stitch. And so I go back and forth and then change colors. You can see my color changes along this part of the blanket, and I will hide those in when I do the edge work. So I just thought it was easier than cutting and having all the different loose ends. They're all just connected because both skeins of yarn are still connected, and it does make it really wonky to like have to carry around both balls of yarn around when I'm like working on this around the house. I do have both skeins of yarn sitting there, and then I also have to like rotate which yarn is on which side so that the strands don't get tangled, because I'll have to flip the blanket back and forth. So that gets a little bit weird and tricky, but so far I'm really liking not having to tie off and reconnect anything. It's just all done right on that one side. And I think so far so good as far as like keeping my blanket pretty straight. I can see it's very like wobbly on the edges, and part of that is just user error. Like I'm still very very new at this, so my edges will definitely be covered up quite a bit when I do an edging around the whole blanket, and that will hide a lot of the imperfections that I see. Like when I'm looking at it, I can tell it's not completely even. There's some wobble here and there, but overall I'm trying to keep the blanket like all the way pretty much straight so where it's making a rectangle and not like coming in on each side. But yeah, that's my work in progress. I'm gonna hold up so you can see like how far I've gotten with it. You can see pretty good distance there. So I'm really happy with this one. I'm working on it. I will probably do the rest of these two skeins and then see if I need the other like pink layer. Right now I've got a purple layer, a pink layer in between, and I'm doing another purple layer, and I'm gonna see if I need that extra pink layer to make it long enough. We'll have to see how far it gets, but I'm really excited about this one. I'm making some really good progress. Okay, I'm inserting this back in. This was something that I wanted to talk about in this video. I have had scrap pieces from various different projects, and I decided I was going to make a granny square. So I thought at first I would like patch different granny squares together, but then I saw this like infinity granny square, and it's basically you just keep going on the same granny square. And the way that she kept it straight was she flipped it over every other row. So it'll be on this side, you'll stitch along, and then you'll flip it for the next row and go all the way around. And so far, again, like the ends are not tucked in, there's pieces everywhere for this one, but I really like how it's turning out. These are just like my scrap pieces from various projects that I had left over, and I really like it. I had ended up making a headband, I think, out of this, or a hat, and had a piece of this left. So I went ahead and used that for the center, but I plan on just doing all of my extra scraps onto here so that it will make a nice blanket someday. Right now it's so tiny, but Olivia found it and she was using it for her Barbie dolls and her stuffed animals. So far it's just a teeny tiny doll blanket, but one day it will be a nice big human-sized blanket. So anyway, that is it for my crochet nook. I just had a couple of projects to share with you. I wanted to just fill you guys in on the crochet things because I had shown a few like little pieces in that yarn haul, and I wanted to just show you guys I finally completed something and I'm really happy about it. So I will try to do another one of these when I complete this blanket. I hope you liked it. I will link to all of them down below in case you want to make any of them, because they are all YouTube tutorials this time. And that is it. So I hope you guys liked it. Be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.